Welcome to this edition of the Forum. I'm your host, Sheila Evans. We have a great show in store for you today with an outstanding lineup of guests. We get our show started today by talking with Sarah Gubitz, AIG Supervisor for New Hanover County Schools. She recently won the North Carolina's Gifted Administrator of the Year Award and will tell us a little bit about herself and the award. Then, Tiffany Fountain, a specialist with Relay for Life, stops by. She will give us all the details on this year's event, which will be held on April 25th. And finally, Alyssa Riley, the Education Coordinator with the New Hanover Soil and Water Conservation District, joins us to talk about this year's Earth Day Festival. She will tell us about this year's terrific celebration taking place on April 26th at Hugh McCray Park. We've got a great edition of the Forum for you today, and we'll get started right after this short break.
H.G. Wells was one of the most influential writers of the early 20th century. Known as one of the creators of science fiction, Wells is also considered the master of the comic novel. By the time he was 30 years of age, he had already begun his famous series of scientific romances, notably The Invisible Man and The Time Machine. This background in literature has been brought to you by New Hanover County Schools.
I am joined by Sarah Gubitz. She is the AIG Supervisor for New Hanover County Schools in Instructional Services. And I learned you just received an award. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the award is given annually, and it happens at the North Carolina Association for Gifted and Talented Conference. They have this conference every year, and they give out several state awards. They give out a Gifted Teacher of the Year, they give out Parent Awards, Student Awards, and an Administrator of the Year. And it can actually be any administrator. It can be a principal, it could be a coordinator of gifted program, anybody that acts in an administrative role that advocates for gifted.
Nice.
So
how did this all happen to you?
Well, that's the neatest part, and I think that's the part that really just touched me the most, is that a group of specialists in our district, teachers that work with me, got together and nominated me. And I think the fact that they saw that in me was really just such a great reward for me.
That's very nice.
That in and of itself was...
To be recognized by your peers.
Right, right.
Tell us about your background here in New Hanover County.
Well, I'm from Wilmington, born and raised. There aren't many of us I hear that all the time, although I don't believe that. I see people I know all the time that I grew up with. But born and raised, went to Ogden Elementary School, Noble, and Laney, and graduated from Laney. And I was in the gifted program here in New Hanover County. So for me, it's a neat kind of coming full circle to have been in the gifted program, and it looks so much different than when I was in school. And so it's just a neat feeling to know that I was a part of this program, and now here I am in this role supervising the program for the district.
And we talked about the fact that you were a teaching fellow.
Yes. Yeah, and that was an interesting thing for me because my mother was a teacher, taught first grade for 30 years here in New Hanover County, and I had never planned to be an educator, but applied for the Teaching Fellows Scholarship, and actually even then didn't plan to go into teaching. I wanted to be a speech pathologist, but when I taught, did my student teaching, I found my niche. It really was for me. And
I'm going to mention that when I had a stint on the Teacher of the Year committee, you were one of the Teachers of the Year.
Yeah, and that was a great time.
What do you think are some of the biggest changes you see?
In the program, there have been a lot of changes. About a year before I came into the supervisor position, the state came out with AIG state program standards. And one of the things that was the biggest change statewide was that the standards were K-12. For a lot of districts, the focus of their programs was from grade 4 to about grade 8. And so there were really only about 4 or 5 years that they were really focusing on giving student services. But when these standards came out, it was very clear that this is a K-12 program. We need to be addressing our students from the time they enter until the time they leave. And I think that's the biggest change statewide. And here in New Hanover County, I think the biggest change that I've seen from being a specialist to entering in this position is that it's become more consistent. We meet together once a month for half a day, and we meet all together. The elementary, middle, and high school folks meet together. So there's a lot of talk about, well, what happens in middle school? Well, what do we need to do in elementary school to make sure that we can prepare them? And same thing for high school.
Well, I'm curious, what does it look like in high school, given that we have AP courses to kind of take that AIG, element and introduce it that way?
Well, and I think, and I had that perception as well as a specialist. I thought, well, AIG in the high school is really your honors and AP courses. But the reality is that not all AIG students choose that track. And we actually have AIG students that drop out of high school. And so it really has shown us that there's a need for some facilitation of services at the high school level. I'm happy to say that it is proposed in the budget this year that we're going to be getting 2 AIG specialists for the high school. Right now we have specialists, but they're assigned the duties as an extra duty, which means after school.
Gotcha.
And there's not a whole lot that they can do because the kids aren't in school after school. So it's been very limited what they've been able to do. But now that we'll have specialists half-time at each of our traditional high schools, they'll really be able to help students in terms of course selection, look for some summer opportunities, internships, extracurricular opportunities, looking at the CTE pathways for some of our gifted.
That was going to be one of my questions, that if they're not particularly college bound, is that one of the areas we're reaching out to?
Sure, absolutely. Nice. I think that would really help keep our students in school and keep them focused on what they want to do.
What do you see coming up in the future?
I really see an enhancement at the high school level. I see a continuous improvement in terms of our teacher training, classroom teachers. I think for a long time people thought, well, they get their gifted services when they're with the specialist. In that pull-out program in elementary school or in middle school, when they're in that classroom, that's when they're getting their services. But the truth is that they're AIG all day, every day. And so our teachers really need to be well trained in how to meet the needs of those students, and that's going to be a focus for us.
Anything happening now that you think our viewers would want to know?
I think one of the big things that's happening now, and it's actually not an AIG initiative. Okay. It's really for any student, but it's called Credit by Demonstrated Mastery, or CDM. It is a state board policy, and we are going to be implementing it at some point next year. And basically what it means is that a child that can demonstrate mastery in a certain course or content area if they can demonstrate that mastery, they can earn credit for that course without spending any seat time in that course. This could be great for a kid that's a history buff and maybe already knows all of the content that's going to be taught in an American History 1 class. That child might CDM out of American History 1 and go on to American History 2 and be able to take some other courses in that time, or graduate early. It could also be done with foreign language with some students that are moving here from other countries. And for some of our students, they're just ready. They know the content well, and they don't need to sit through the class.
So that might be helpful for kids that transfer into New Hanover County and
absolutely
don't want to be in that earth and environmental.
Yes.
Is that going to happen online pretty much?
It's a 2-phase process.
Okay.
Phase 1 is an assessment, and it will either, if there's an EOC associated, which is Math 1, English 2, and Biology, then they'll take the EOC. If it's not one of those courses, it will be a locally designed assessment. And if they pass Phase 1, they have to achieve a level 5 on the EOC or 94% on a locally designed assessment. Then they have to do an artifact, and that artifact will be designed by folks in that content area. Cool. And so if they pass both phases, then they will earn that credit, and they can move on and do something else.
Great. Well, Sarah, congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming by and filling us in on the AIG program.
Great to be here. Thank you so much.
I'll be back in a few minutes right after these messages.
Hey guys, this is my teenage friend Rachel. She's cool.
Hey. Hey, could you watch the road?
Hey, could you watch the road?
Okay. All right, well, if we die in a car crash, I want to donate my eyes to my neighbor, Gary. He has a boat, and he sails all around the world. I would love to see that. I don't know if he actually needs eyes, but who would turn on a free pair of eyes, right? Who's that rich?
Hi, we're the Commodores, and we believe in music. We're here to keep music education in our schools.
Music is one of those things that we've all grown up with, and no one would ever want to grow up without having music.
Don't take it away. No kid left behind, no music left behind.
Remember, kids who study music do better in school and in life.
To support music education in your local community, go to www.supportmusic.com.
I am joined by Tiffany Fountain. She is a specialist for Relay for Life with the American Cancer Society. And Relay for Life is coming up, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
When is it in New Hanover County?
It will be held on April 25th and 26th at Ashley High School. It'll begin at 6 p.m. with opening ceremonies on the 25th of April.
Okay. For those that don't know, what is Relay for Life?
Relay for Life is a community-wide event where everybody can come together for the common cause of our fight against cancer and this horrible disease. There's no one that I know of personally that's never been touched by it in some form or fashion. Friend, family member,
Right.
co-worker. It started, I will tell you a bit of history, in 1985 by a physician named Mr. Gordy Clapp. He decided cancer never sleeps, so why should I? Walked for 24 hours, raised $27,000, and so began Relay for Life.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
a little bit of history.
So we're at Ashley.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's been the home for a while now, right?
Yes, ma'am, it sure has.
Okay.
They've been very gracious. It's a wonderful facility, and we're very blessed to have them on our team.
And it's kind of fun camping out there too.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And they actually allow us to use the infield track. So we're the campsites used to be on the exterior. Now we're kind of all in there, and it kind of makes that community involvement that much better.
Nice. If you haven't registered yet, is it too late?
No, ma'am. We do encourage people, of course, to go ahead and try to register prior to, just so we can help them with the participation in the event itself and kind of plan a little bit better. But we encourage everyone to come out, and they can sign up the day of.
Okay. Now, if someone asks why they should get involved, what would your answer be?
Why not?
Well, there you go.
The way that I see it, I'm actually a 25-year cancer survivor myself, and I've always participated in Relay for Life. To go out there and have that community support, to know that they've got your back, that they're behind you, they're rooting you on so you can see that next birthday. Everybody needs to experience it, I feel, simply because of why I said, what is Relay? We are all touched by it in some capacity. So I know that it's a wonderful experience.
Right. So how interesting is it that you're a 25-year survivor and I'm a 3-year? So out of the two people sitting on the stage,
exactly,
you know, so
exactly, and
you're
that comes full circle. As I said, there's no one that we don't know.
What does a team do at Relay?
A team, and this is a misconception many people have when you think of team. You think of a group of people, but you can actually be a one-person team.
Oh.
So yeah. But a team goes out there, they advocate for cancer research, of course, and they fundraise. With the American Cancer Society, we've made such great strides in the fight against cancer, but it's really the volunteers and the teams that are really going to win this battle by going out there and helping us fund for the research.
Okay. If someone doesn't want to join a team or do the walk or whatever, is there another way they can support the cause
Certainly.
or the event?
Certainly. There's several different ways, of course. I mean, anybody can make a donation to the Relay for Life or the American Cancer Society. They can do it in memory or honor of somebody. Okay. There's the Luminaria ceremony. I don't know if you've actually been and participated.
It's pretty cool.
It's a wonderful, wonderful, and that's another reason why to Relay. Come to the Luminaria ceremony. It's a way for us to honor and celebrate in memory of those that we've lost, but also in all those that have won that battle.
And explain how people can get involved in that, because I think maybe if people knew that, they might do more of that.
In the Luminaria ceremony? Well, it's at 9 o'clock, I can tell you that, at Ashley High School. So even if you want to just come out, and people, you don't have to stay all night.
Right.
You can come out for the opening ceremony through the Luminaria ceremony. But it's always done at 9, so that way it's dark. It's a very solemn ceremony, but also full of hope and just this community involvement in terms of, once again, supporting the survivors and those that are out there. But we line the track with the luminary bags, we light them, it's very dark, we have a ceremony, and then we read off the names. It's a very poignant ceremony, as I said. And as far as the involvement, just come out, just be there.
So if you're going to be out of town that weekend or something, is there a way to go on the website and purchase one of those in honor or memory of someone?
Yes, ma'am. You can purchase them up until Wednesday at midnight prior to the event, which is the 23rd, I do believe. Yes, ma'am. So that's the way to get involved. You can
if you
purchase.
just happen not to be in town or something,
Exactly.
people could still be involved that way.
Yes, ma'am. You can purchase, and it can also be in honor of a caregiver. We forget about those that are there by our sides, day in and day out, taking care of those survivors that are out there and the cancer patients. So you can do that as well.
Now, I know you're relatively new to Relay for Life.
Yes, ma'am.
In your capacity. Are they still doing flowers or azaleas or something as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to talk about that?
Yes, ma'am,
Okay.
definitely. We call them the Bluminaries.
Oh, there you go.
And,
that's clever.
Yeah, they're fantastic. They're the azaleas, local, I can't even think of what I'm trying to say, plant place.
I got
Help me out there. They are very gracious in helping us fund that and donate it for the relay. And you can purchase a Bluminary in honor or in memory of someone, just like the Luminaries. Okay. So, and it's beautiful too, because they're blooming and they're out there, and it kind of just adds to the atmosphere in the ceremony as well. So.
Now, tell us what kind of opportunities there might be for schools to get involved.
This is huge. Then this is actually my goal coming up for the next year of Relay. Okay. I would love to see 100% community school involvement. Okay. We do have tons of schools that are involved now, but it's more on a faculty level and not the actual student participation.
Oh, gotcha.
The American Cancer Society has created Relay Recess, which is for elementary schools, Relay Field Day for middle schools, and then High School Relay for the high schoolers. Each program can be implemented in their own particular way, but they all teach the same thing. Healthy lifestyle through nutrition, exercise, sun protection, no smoking, advocacy for cancer research, community involvement. That is huge because, and I know I keep throwing that out there, but you don't realize how supportive all these little pockets can be, and it teaches them to get out there and participate and give back to what they're a part of.
So do they have those events on their campuses?
Yes.
In lieu of going to the big one?
They can do both.
Well, I mean, is it how it was started? And now maybe next year do their own, and they like it so much they come to the big one?
Exactly.
Okay.
Kind of yes and no. Okay. I'm going to use Ogden Elementary as an example. They've been doing a Relay Recess now for 10 years. They're one of my only teams that do Relay Recess. And what they do is they have a lap donor form that the children go and they get sponsors.
Oh, gotcha.
And then each grade level comes out for a certain period of time, and they make a big day out of it. They've got tents, music, refreshments, and the kids do as many laps during that period of time, walk, run, skip, hop, whatever. Yeah. And they get little dots on their hands, so for every lap that they do, they get X number of donations, and that's how that team. But it's such I went out there the other day, they had it last Friday, and to see the kids and just their enthusiasm and just knowing that they're giving back, because you even have young people who are touched by this. Right. So, and for them to kind of get some understanding of what it's all about is wonderful.
Well, Tiffany, it sounds like it's going to be a very successful event.
Yes, ma'am.
Hopefully we'll have some good weather.
That's what I was just getting ready to say. Yeah. Let's pray for great weather. Let's pray for great weather.
Very good. Well, thanks for coming by.
No, thank you for having me.
I'll be back in just a few minutes after these messages.
Where's yours?
Hey guys, this is my teenage friend Rachel. She's cool.
Hey. Hey, could you watch the road?
Hey, could you watch the road?
Okay. All right, well, if we die in a car crash, I want to donate my eyes to my neighbor, Gary. He has a boat, and he sails all around the world. I would love to see that. I don't know if he actually needs eyes, but who would turn on a free pair of eyes, right? Who's that rich?
My next guest is Alyssa Riley. She's co-chair of the Earth Day Alliance, and we're here to talk about the Earth Day Festival. When is the Wilmington Earth Day Festival this year?
The Earth Day Festival is on April 26th, which is just a couple of weeks away, and it starts at noon and runs until about 6 o'clock in the evening.
Okay, so noon to 6, where is it?
It's at Hugh McRae Park.
Okay. Has that been the home for it for the last couple of years?
It has been for a while now, yeah, which is a great facility to have it, so we're excited that it's back there this year.
Okay. Is there a cost to attend the festival?
There is not a cost. It is free to attend. However, there will be food and drinks available for purchase, as well as some of the vendors will have items for purchase. And we also have raffle items up for grabs. So if anyone is interested in any of those things, I would recommend bringing some cash.
Gotcha. Tell us what activities are go on that day. What's it going to look like?
Well, we have several different vendors and exhibitors throughout the park. We have a kids zone, which is activities specifically for kids. We have live music throughout the day from different local bands, and we have food and drink available. It's just going to be a really fun-filled day for the whole family.
So when we walk up to the kids zone, what's it look like?
So the kids zone is going to be a big tent, but there's going to be activities, primarily hands-on type activities, primarily for kids. There's also going to be a Nature Brigade parade that starts around 1:30, and it'll and so the kids,
what is that going to be?
So the kids can dress up in any kind of costumes of like flora or fauna. They can wear their own costumes, and we will have some costumes available for them if they don't have their own. And we'll just kind of march around. It starts about 1:30, and it'll start there at the Kids Eco Tent and kind of march through the whole facility. There's going to be live music also that's just for kids, so it's going to be very just kid-friendly oriented.
Okay. Will some of the food vendors be down that way?
The food vendors will be in the same vicinity, yes.
Okay. Do you guys take up pretty much the whole park?
We take up a pretty good section of it because we have one main exhibitor tent, and then we have some different smaller exhibitor tents from people that are bringing their own this year. And then we have different food vendors. We're having Flaming Amy's burrito truck. We're having PT's Grill, and we're having Rita's Italian Ice.
Everybody will be happy with that. You talked about music all day long. What are some of the bands that are playing?
So we have all local bands. So the first band that starts at noon is the Clams. And then at 2 o'clock, we have the Cosmic Groove Lizards. Okay. And then at 4, we have Funk and Disorderly.
Oh, fun. We talked about some of the exhibitors. Is there any other that you can think of that will be there?
Yeah, we have a wide variety of exhibitors this year. So we have some local nonprofit groups such as Cape Fear River Watch. We also have like the North Carolina Coastal Federation, and we also have government groups involved. So like the City of Wilmington Stormwater Services will be there, as well as their Heal Our Waterways group, which actually graciously donated a rain barrel for our raffle. We will also have some local businesses there as well, such as Wilmington Yoga Center or like Green Baby Diapers. So as of right now, we have about 50 exhibitors, but we still have some more coming in. So there will be a lot for people to see and do.
Okay, now for some of those nonprofits, are they there just to increase awareness about some of these things?
Exactly. So the theme for this year's festival is Clean Water Starts Here. So we're kind of just educating people on things that they can do, basically their personal stewardship, which is their personal responsibility to help keep our local waterways clean and sustainable so that they're here for years to come. So our vendors and exhibitors are just going to be educating people on what they can do to help with that. And that's kind of the theme for this year. So most people will be focused on that.
Do you know what any of the exhibitors are specifically going to do to, increase this awareness?
Some of them will have different activities that are related directly to the theme, and I don't want to give away too many details because I want people to see it there, but they'll definitely be centered around that.
So maybe even some hands-on stuff to do?
Absolutely.
Or see? Okay, that's really what I was getting at, rather than just handing out a pamphlet.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Most people will have demonstrations or hands-on activities, and people will have educational info to pass out as well, but they'll be doing activities to show people firsthand some things that they can do.
Okay. Now I know you're co-chair of this event.
Yes.
What's the other person working on right now, do you think?
Well, right now we're kind of just getting the final details. We're working on just making sure all of our exhibitors are good to go. Basic things such as making sure we have an ATM and porta potties, just good things to make sure that the festival is going to run as smoothly as it can.
What about parking?
Parking is available at the cinema lot.
Okay.
And actually, Wave Transit is providing a free trolley that starts, I believe, about 11:30, and it's going to run every 20 minutes. So people can park there and then get shuttled over to the park.
How many years has this been happening in Wilmington?
I was asked that yesterday.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine because this is my first year involved, but the festival's been around for anywhere between 20 and 30 years. So it's a long-standing festival.
I didn't remember that it was that long.
Yeah, it's been around for a while.
So getting bigger, it seems.
It does. It keeps getting bigger, and you know, we're expecting anywhere between 5,000 and 6,000 people to come out this year. And so, I mean, it's a great event, and it's fun-filled, and it's free, and it's for the whole family. So we're excited about it.
Well, hopefully we'll have some good weather.
Absolutely. I think we're gonna.
What else keeps you busy?
Well, I am the education coordinator for New Hanover Soil and Water Conservation District. We're one of the partners involved with the Earth Day Alliance. We also have Cape Fear River Watch, the Florida Aquarium. The Cooperative Extension is also involved, and we have some other people that help out as well. So I stay pretty busy going into the schools and doing educational programs there.
And what do you do in your education program?
I do different activities, so I have some coming up at an elementary school where I'm doing a presentation on soil and erosion. We also do presentations on weathering. We'll talk about soils and plants. We just have lots of different things that we get involved with.
Are the programs consistent with like the standards?
They are. They're all aligned to the North Carolina standards.
Teachers should be happy to see you.
They do, yeah. They contact us, and if anyone is interested in having an educational program, they can contact me at the office. My phone number is 798-6032, or they can send me an email, and I'd be happy to get that to you. Most of them are familiar with Amy Long, who has been our education coordinator, and she just recently left to take on a full-time position at UNCW, and she will be greatly missed. But she's still going to come on and help with some contracting and help make sure that I know what I'm doing.
Well, Alyssa, thanks for filling us in on Earth Day.
Absolutely.
We're crossing our fingers for good weather, and I'll be back in a few minutes right after these messages.
What state am I?
One of my cities is known as the birthplace of jazz. I am the home of Mardi Gras. I am the lowest lying state in the country, averaging just 100 feet above sea level. Do you know who I am? If you guessed Louisiana, you're right. I received statehood in 1812.
This United States factoid has been brought to you by New Hanover County Schools on the Learning Network of the Cape Fear.
We can all be energy savers. It's easy. Turn off lights. Use energy-saving light bulbs. And turn off electronics and appliances when not in use. Make a change and we can really fly. Learn more at energy.gov/kids.
We hope you've enjoyed our program today. To learn more about New Hanover County's AIG programs, you can email sarah.gubitz@nhcs.net or call 254-4333. The New Hanover County Relay for Life will be held on Friday, April 25th at Ashley High School, starting at 6 p.m. For more information, email tiffany.fountain@cancer.org or call 254-4871. For more information on the Wilmington Earth Day Festival, call the Earth Day Alliance at 798-6032 or visit their website at www.wilmingtonearthday.com. The event will be held on Saturday, April 26th at Hugh McCrae Park from 12 noon until 6 p.m. Now, if you ever have questions about the topics discussed here on our show today, please call the school system's public relations office at 254-4180 or check out the school system's website at www.nhcs.net. I'm Sheila Evans, and thanks for joining me today.